Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam narunchaiva naruttamam deving saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraet nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopala Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namo. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 7th chapter, 32nd verse. Please repeat after me. Prajo Padravam Prajopadravam Alakshya Loka Vyatikaram Chatam Matam Cha Vasudevasya Sanjaharanjano Dvayam Prajopadravam Alakshya Lokavyatikaram Chatam Matam Cha Vasudevasya Sanha Ranjanodvayam Prajopadravam Alakshya Lokavyatikaram Chatam Matam Cha Vasudevasya Sanjaharan Arjunodvayam Prajopadravam Alakshya Lokavyatikaram Chatam Matam Cha Vasudevasya Samharjunodvayam
Lokavyatikaram chatam Matam cha Vasudevasya Sangyarjunodvayam Prajopadravam Prajopadravam Alakshya
Prajopadravam Alakshya
Lokavyatikaram chatam Matam cha Vasudevasya Sanjahararjunodvayam
Synonyms. Praja, the people in general. Upadravam, disturbance. Alakya, having seen it. Loka, the planets. Vyatikaram, destruction. Cha, also. Tam, that. Matam, Matam cha, and the opinion. Vasudevasya, of Vasudev Shri Krishna. Sanjahara, retracted. Arjunaha, Arjun. Dvayam, both the weapons. Translation. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons, as Lord Shri Krishna desired. Purport. The theory that the modern atomic bomb's explosion can annihilate the world is a childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world, and secondly, ultimately, it all rests upon the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, because without His will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. It is foolish also to think that the natural laws are ultimately powerful. Material nature's laws work under the direction of the Lord as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that there are natural laws work under His supervision. The world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord and not by the whims of tiny politicians. Lord Shri Krishna desired that the weapon released by both Droni and Arjuna be withdrawn, and it was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of all powerful Lord, and by His will only one can execute what he desires. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य। जयो श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 7th chapter and 32nd verse. So it's a very beautiful verse. Srila Prabhupada is writing a lot about what is happening at this point of time, and the previous class was given by Sri Sanatan Prabhu, and he quite elaborately mentioned about what actually happened, why, and what is the cause of things which are being done. So we will be discussing further on this, and we can go ahead, right? कोई दिक्कत नहीं है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So basically, when you talk about Ashwathama, and he's shooting those Brahmastra, at that point of time, the most essential thing is that Arjun is a very learned person. He could see that the Brahmastra has been shotted. and he can understand very well the consequence of a Brahmastra, because he has been taught by Dronacharya how to use a Brahmastra, how to send a Brahmastra, how to retract a Brahmastra, how to what is that? How to stop a Brahmastra. All of this has been taught to Arjuna very clearly. He has learned that. And after learning that, when the Brahmastra, he could see that there is light around everywhere, it is glowing. At that point of time, he was very clearly aware that this is a Brahmastra. And he knows what is supposed to be done. A Brahmastra can be stopped by only Brahmastra. So he could have, he could have taken one of his arrows and shot another Brahmastra and said, hey, things are done. Bingo. But he did not do that. What did he do, in fact? He asked Krishna that, my dear Lord, what is going on around? It seems like it is burning, all of it is burning so heavily. And it appears that this entire creation is going to get destroyed. And then Krishna says that, no, it's not like that. You do what? This has been a Brahmastra. This Brahmastra has been shot by Ashwathama. He was so much fearful that he had to do that. So you do one thing, you also shoot a Brahmastra, and your Brahmastra is going to cancel the Brahmastra which has been sent by Ashwathama. And that is what happened. Well, we know what happened. I don't want to describe that. What I want to discuss about more profusely is that why did Arjuna ask Krishna? So you see, many times in our lives, we go through such situations wherein we feel that I know what I have to do. I know what is right. I know what is wrong. And since I know what is right and I know what is wrong, I have all the right to take my decisions myself. This is what our thoughts come up like. For example, you're thinking, I have decided, I have decided to devote my life as a brahmachari in brahmachari ashram. And you join as a brahmachari, you start continuing as a brahmachari. And then eventually you realize, hey, I think I cannot continue. And do you know what it takes? It takes a small mail to the authority that, my dear Prabhu, my time is over now. I cannot continue as a brahmachari. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And you move out of the ashram. There has been so many instances. But just think about the situation wherein you are deciding to stay inside brahmachari ashram. How much efforts, how much fight you have had within yourself. I'm going to give up everything in my life. All what my possessions are will be gone. And as soon as I join brahmachari ashram, actually I have burned my life. What does it mean? Burn my life means I have burned all the thing which happens to be, which I can call as mine, is on burn. That is why, brahmacharis or sannyasis are given the color saffron. Because by saffron, what do you mean? By saffron, we mean that we have burned our self as a person in the fire, and that fire is nothing but that saffron color which the person is wearing. And what does he get? He gets renunciation. He gets into the renounce order by the mercy of his spiritual master. So he surrenders unto his spiritual master and becomes his humble servant. That is brahmacharya. Now, a person to take that decision, he cannot do it just by himself. He needs so much of guidance. It doesn't happen that one fine day you wake up in the morning from the right side of your bed, you get down, take bath, and you decide, today I'll become a brahmachari. and you continue as a brahmachari. No, it doesn't happen like that. It takes years, 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 and years together. And it's not just you become a brahmachari, but also there is a person who is anticipating that this person can become a brahmachari. Huh? Let us provide sufficient understanding for this person so that he can take up the brahmachari ashram. And that is when you join a brahmachari ashram. You join brahmachari ashram, you stayed up a few years, you had a fight with someone, and you decide, Prabhu, this cannot continue. I am leaving the ashram now, and you are simply dropping an email and you're going. So for you to join brahmachari ashram and for you to leave brahmachari ashram, there is just one difference. What is the difference? For entering brahmachari ashram, you have been through a lot of guidance, and when you're coming out of brahmachari ashram, that is actually without any guidance, you decided one fine day that you want to move out and you move out. This has been the maximum cases. So what is important here is consultation. That is very important. It's not just about brahmacharya ashram, it's also about the grihastha ashram. I can tell you about myself. When I wanted to become a brahmachari, so I was, and my family had some personal problems. I went to different temples where I have served, and I asked them that I want to become brahmachari, can you kindly help me in that? But no one was ready, because there had been some personal difficulties in my life and everyone knew about it. So finally, I thought that maybe, brahmachari ashram is not for me, and I decided to get married. But the night when I decided to get married, that was very difficult. Why it was very difficult? Because I had to fight with myself, with all those thoughts I have ever restored in my life, in my consciousness, to fetch all of that and remove it out of my consciousness and decide that no, fine, I can become a grihastha person. So it is as difficult as a person joining brahmacharya ashram. Similarly, mothers leaving their ashram, leaving their parents' house and getting married to someone, it is as difficult as a person joining brahmacharya ashram, going to a foreign land. So every individual has a difficulty. But the point is consultation. When we are talking about this context, particularly here, what do we see? We see that Arjuna had also some challenge in his life. He could clearly see that the Brahmastra is coming right away. And just keep in your mind one thing. It's a little while before that all his 5 sons are killed. All the Pandavas, all the Pandav Putras are killed now. And he very well knows the next attack is going to be upon who? Uttara. We have just seen that drama, right? And Uttara is that person who is going to carry one more final child of the Pandav Kul. So, considering all this situation, if we do not stop Ashwathama, what can be the consequences? What will be the next step Ashwathama is going to take? Arjun knows everything about it. He could have directly killed Ashwathama. But what did he do? He took advice from Krishna. That is what will be the subject of our discussion today. So I was just setting up the mood. Now we will start discussing about this particular verse. I'm sorry, some of you are, giving up heavy breaths. देखिए इतना अभी तक तुम सिर्फ स्टार्टिंग कॉन्टेक्स्ट सेट कर रहे थे, अभी तुम बोलना स्टार्ट करेगा, बाप रे. But that is how it is. Please bear with me. I have another 33 minutes to speak. So government duty, basically when you talk about government, so this is about protection. Let me just clarify it to you. Protection. So government duty is to do what? Protect the citizens. That is the government's duty. Like for example, we hear a lot of things happening between our country and the other country. Few months back there was a war, right? And just I was looking at one of the news yesterday, and I saw that the Pakistani Prime Minister He organized one investiture. You know what is an investiture? Investiture is a program wherein you are being awarded different medals. So he was giving medals to someone, and then one person came. He was one Air Force guy. He was given a medal, and then he turned him around and said, "इन्होंने S-400 खत्म किया था." And people in India are shocked. They, किधर Air Force किधर खत्म किया S-400 missile system को इनने? So people have different views, they do different things, but everyone is wanting to protect their citizens. So just like we in India are wanting to protect our citizens, similarly in Pakistan, they are also wanting to protect their citizens. So that is how a government works, protecting the citizens. When Yudhishthir Maharaj was the king, the system was so beautiful that there was no scorching heat, no pinching cold, no anxiety of the people. Why? Because the king is very nice. And how the king is similarly is the subordinates or the subjects. They were also very wonderful. They were supporting the king, giving proper taxes. But then Srila Prabhupada, he gave a class in Vrindavan on the same verse and he said, but that's not all. That's not the purpose of a government. The purpose of a government is not just to provide facilities to people. The purpose of a government is to raise the consciousness of people in such a way that they get spiritually inclined. That is the work of a government. If the government do not produce such a situation wherein the people are getting attracted to practice spiritual science, then that government is of no use. Now, the Vedic system says what? The ultimate goal of life is to practice Krishna consciousness. And the advancement can only happen, according to the Vedic system, if the Varnashram is followed. Now, what is a Varnashram? Wherein it is decided who is going to do what. What is the work of each section of the society. For example, what is the work of a Brahmana, what is the work of a Kshatriya, what is the work of a Vaishya, and similarly Shudra. Now, assume that there is a person who is Shudra and he one day decides that no, I'll start giving Bhagavatam classes. And he goes and sits in the Vyasasana and start giving Bhagavatam classes without authority, without taking proper knowledge of the scriptures. How is he going to guide the people? Do you see some examples like this? We can see examples like I have seen sometime when I was in college, we used to go for, doing some, I was working for some NGO kind of a thing, before you come into Krishna consciousness, you have these kind of funny ideas. So one of these funny ideas, I also had to do some philanthropic activities. So I used to go in some NGOs. So we used to go in Anganwadis. And this Anganwadi lady, she herself never knew what ABCD is. She herself doesn't know what is a cat, what is a rat. And she was teaching, to all the boys and girls. You might have seen that, funny thing. FUTURE, future, NATURE, nature. So these kind of things I have seen in those Anganwadi things. Just imagine how a person who himself has not learned about how to read, how to write. She has become an Anganwadi teacher and she is, teaching and taking care of at least 70 to 100 students. The only good part about Anganwadi, what I felt was they were fed properly. That was the only good part. Apart from that, I don't think so that proper teaching was given. So why does this happen? This happens because inappropriate person sits at inappropriate places. And again, there is no validation to it. No one is getting validated. No one is validating it. So now, similarly, as I was saying, Varnashrama. So it's a combined process, combined progress. Varnashrama progress only when all the four sections together work. And when all these four sections together work, they do what? They together make the progress. right? So when they together make progress, what happens? Society grows. So Prabhupada is saying, when they together grow, that is yajna. And who is accepting this yajna? Who is Yagyesh? Who is Yagya Purush? Who is Yogeshwar? It's Krishna. Yagyapati is Krishna. So now, properly, if someone is following the Varnashram Dharma, that can be also called as a devotional service. Why? Because ultimately, whatever is doing is going in that yajna, and that yajna to have a proper society is what? That is Krishna consciousness, and that is going to whom? The Yogeshwara or the Yagyapati, who is Krishna. So that can be called as devotional service. But now I'm coming to the verse that we had discussed today. But if there is a difference in it, if the Yogeshwara and Yogyapati is not receiving the yajna, and there are ulterior motives, and there is karma bandhana, then what happens? Then happens upadrava. Now, what is an upadrava? What is upadrava in general? This is a very common word in Bengali.
Rebellion.
We can say as rebellion, yes. Mischievous, yes. So in Bengali, if someone is creating a lot of difficulty, like for example, my daughter creates a lot of difficulty for us when we are in meetings and stuffs like that. So that is upadrav. So I tell Priya, oh my God, take her. बहुत उपद्रव करके रखा हुआ है. So upadrav is what? Creating nonsense, right? So that nonsense is doing whatever you want. Today's society is like this. I was speaking in the last session when I was saying that just see we have parents here sitting. We would never like our children to become an influencer. We would like our children to study trigonometry. We want our children to study something good and then become, something good in their lives. They earn properly without any foul thing. They earn properly, give it to Krishna. That is what we want as a parent. But how much they earn? Like, for example, how much I earn? How much anyone who is working in an IT sector earns? 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs? Okay, 70 lakhs, 1 crore, 1.5 crores. These influencers who do nothing practically, they're doing nothing, simply dancing and doing all this nonsense. They're earning in millions. Can you imagine this? Just by doing nothing. There is a family, I don't know their names actually. Someone told me that in that family, all the family members, they make vlogs. And then they do nothing apart from this. And they are really earning well. So now, see this situation. This is Kali Yuga. And what are they doing? That is Upadrav. Why that is Upadrav? Because there is no Krishna consciousness in it. No Krishna consciousness. Mother is envious. So I am going to come to that as well. When you talk about karma bandhan, when you talk about upadrav, so we have this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. What is that? Prayana alpa ayusha. Does anyone remember it? Kalo asmin yogesh. Kalo asmin yogejana. Right. So prayana alpa. So what is the quality of Kali Yuga? Prayana alpa ayusha. Alpa ayusha means short life, short duration of life. And the next word says manda. Manda can have two meanings. One manda means mad person, and the another manda is very slow. So very slow means what? The spiritual understanding, conceiving capacity is so slow that they do not have practically any growth. So Prabhupada writes in one of the verses in CC, I forgot the verse, but then he writes there that if one is not serious about Krishna consciousness, the speed of progress is so manda. And there he quotes this particular verse. Manda Manda Matayo Manda Matyo Manda Bhagya also he says. Manda Bhagya. I don't remember this verse. I'm sorry. This is 1.1.10, right? Yeah, Manda Bhagya. And therefore, their Bhagya, they are very unfortunate also. That is what this verse says. So similarly, you already have all these difficulties. You have a small age, you have you are unfortunate, and at the same time, you have a lot of enemies also around you. So Chanakya Pandit says four things. He says there are four enemies who live in your family. For example, who are they? So he says, Reen Karta Pita Shatru. What does it mean? It means, like, for example, you have your father, and this father has a lot of debt on him. So, ideally, just like we own the property of our father, similarly, a child or a son also acquires the sin of his father. So Prabhupada was, when he was saying this, he gave an example of C.R. Das. So there is a person called as Chittaranjan Das. He was a big barrister in Bengal. So his father had a lot of debt and he died insolvent. So during such situation, what happened? So, this brings a lot of disgrace to the family. So when C.R. Das, he became a big barrister, he could earn a lot of money. And since he earned a lot of money, he called all those people who gave loans to his father and he, repaid all those debts. So that is the quality of a child. He has to repay the debts which have been taken by the father. Similarly, Mata Shatrur Vivacharini. If the mother is having external relationships apart from his father, and according to the Vedic understanding, remarriages, divorces, all this comes under Vyabhichar, even if the husband has died. So I don't want to comment that because otherwise today's class is also going to go out of list from YouTube. So I don't want to discuss much, but I'm just saying what does it mean. And then third Shastru is Rupavati Bharya Shatrur. If you get married to a very beautiful wife, Anshul Prabhu, that's also a difficulty. And the most important is Putra Shatru Apandita. Putra Shatru Apandita means what? This is, just see, our culture is so beautiful. Uh, this Chanakya Pandit Nitis, we all know practically, but Chanakya Pandit, he gave all of this before. So I heard, I mean, this is, I don't know what, a phrase wherein you say what? Uh, I don't remember it now, but it says Kim Dhan Sanchay, something like this. Have you heard about this? So, Poot Kaput to Kim Dhan Sanchay, Poot Saput to Kim Dhan Sanchay. It means that if a Poot, the son, is Saput means is a very good person. Why do you want to save money? Why do you want to earn a lot of money? If he is a nice person, he is going to earn money and he is going to help you also. And Poot Kaput, if he is not a good person, why do you want to save money? जो भी तुम जमाएगा ये सब उड़ा देगा. So that is what Putra Shatru Apandita. So everything is there in the Vedas. But we do not accept it. Then in CC, Srila Prabhupada was highlighting that in CC it is Anadi Bahir Mukha, Anadi Bahir Mukha, Jiva Krishna Bhuli Jaye, Otoev Krishna Veda Purano Korilaye. Kyunki just because people are forgetting the Vedas and they do not know how to follow the Vedas, therefore, Otoev Krishna Veda Purano Korilaye. Therefore, for people, Krishna cannot go and say, hey, don't do this, don't do this. And he knows very well that these rascals are never going to go and ask Krishna or ask Guru. What they are going to do is they are going to take decisions independently, and therefore, let me do what? Let me give Vedas so that they have a guideline and references that you cannot go beyond this, or you have to live somewhere inside this. So that is why the Vedas are given. And you know what is the best part, and what we can say is the mood of this class is Matam cha Vasudevasya. Now this is important. Matam cha Vasudevasya means what? You take advice from Vasudev. You take advice from Krishna. What is right for me? What is not right for me? So this person, as I started speaking, I said, person joining brahmacharya ashram, it is not difficult for him. He has to do a lot of things. There is someone who is saying, thinking that he might join, he can do good if he joins a brahmachari. So you are taking advice from someone and then you are entering brahmacharya ashram. So whatever decisions you are taking in your life, that should not be out of your whims and fancies. That should be properly consulted. That is what Krishna is saying. That is what we read here. Matam cha Vasudevasya. Ask. Ask the Guru. Ask the Sadhu. Ask the Shastras. And there can be a possibility that we read Shastras, but we are not able to interpret that correctly. Many a times we see people read Shastras and then they interpret it according to their convenience, but that is not that is not how things happen. You have to get that validated. That has to be referenced. Because you see, this Kali Yuga, it has got a lot of difficulties. A lot of difficulties. There are social, political, natural, international, economical, so many difficulties a single person goes through. What is the solution to it? What is the solution of all this Upadravas? Prabhupada says, Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam, kalo nasteva 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 gate anyatha. There is no other option apart from chanting. This is a simple way. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he said that, see the condition. 500 years before, people were still, though they were in Kali Yuga, but the condition was much better than the condition we are in right now. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the condition, what can happen in future, maybe in 2025, maybe later. And that is why he gave the Harinam to all of us to practice and chant the glorious holy names of the Lord. What happens if we do not follow the scriptures? Tasmat Shastra Vidhanukta. If we do not follow and do things whimsically, then what happens? Then happens na siddham swapnoti. You cannot get the perfection in your life. If you do not perfect your life, if you do not get perfected in this particular life, what will happen? Again, the cycle of rebirth. Again, the cycle punarapi jananam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam. This is going to continue, and there is no end to it. So na siddhim swapnoti. The other thing is na sukham. There is no happiness also. And therefore, Prabhupada re-emphasizes about Vasudevasya Mataha. And what does Vasudevasya Mata means? Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. Take advice from them. Ask them what is right, what is wrong. Reading Shastras, validate that. That is also important. That is also Vasudevasya Mataha. Then Prabhupada also spoke about Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. A lot of people, a lot of leaders also speak about this Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. And Prabhupada said that how can that be a possibility? Because this is in scripture, we can get confused. That is why Prabhupada said, if Brahma is Satya, if Brahma is truth, how can something which is getting originated from Brahma be untruthful? That also has to be true. So, who can give us this advice? This advice can be given to us by that individual who has realized this. See, there can be multiple levels of acceptance. People can hear things, people can speak the same thing like a parrot, but that is not going to create an impact. When do we see that the things are getting or creating impact? When you see the person is speaking with his realizations. And when someone speaks with his realizations, that is the point when you see the lives of the people are getting impacted. For good, of course. Not like influencers. That is what? That is upadrava. What happens when we misuse the truth? Many a times we see, like for example, I quote this, I have quoted this before as well. When you talk about Quran, it has not got multiple translations, purports like that. There is only one version of Quran. And the best part of people reading Quran in India is they know to read what is written in the Quran, but they do not know the meaning because that is in Arabic. People do not know Arabic. And those people who know Arabic, they're not interested. Means people living in South Asia, in the Middle East. They're not interested in understanding it because from externally they can show themselves as very good Muslims, but from inside they are doing everything what a person living in America, a person living in any of the wealthy country is doing, even more than that. So when you talk about Quran, that is not translated. But Prabhupada said that the Bhagavad Gita we are reading is the Bhagavad Gita, which is the real Bhagavad Gita, which is why we call it as it is. But otherwise, there are 18,000 different versions of Bhagavad Gitas available. And people are transforming, changing the verses also according to their convenience. What happens when people do like this? When people do like this, do independence, they try to use their independent will to modulate the scriptures, they go to hell. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Why? Because they are altering Vasudevasya Mataha according to their convenience. So we have to find truth in everything. And what is the truth? What is the truth? Truth is Ishavasyam Idam Sarvam. Everything is God's creation. That is the truth. We read in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So Krishna is speaking about himself. And Krishna is the proprietor. We are creating, when we create our proprietorship in anything, that is mithya. When we think that, hey, this is my work. I start a preaching program, the preaching program goes really good, and I say, my preaching program has gone really good. So actually, that is not my preaching program. That is Prabhupada's preaching program. I remember one time, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj I was in Chowpatty, and during that time, uh, Maharaj was inside, and then someone came, a very senior person, and he asked His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj that Maharaj, who is the head pujari of Shri Radha Gopinath temple. So Radhanath Maharaj held his hand and brought him inside one room. So when inside the DT room, there are two sections. There are two sections before you enter the altar. First is where there are utensils kept, and there is another section when you go inside, you see that there are multiple things kept there. For example, there is a board there. There are plates, and there are some printed copies of mana. I don't remember what is that. So there is mana puja also, which is happening before you enter the altar. So there they have put a photograph of Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangri Prabhu. And Radhanath Maharaj says that Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangri Prabhu, they are our head pujaris. That is what he said. Such a big thing. Jananivas Prabhu, Pankajangri Prabhu visits hardly once. Pankajangri Prabhu is not in this planet anymore. Jananivas Prabhu visits hardly in 10 years once in Radha Gopinath temple, but they are considered as head pujaris of Shri Radha Gopinath temple. That is the consciousness, you see. So no one is saying the proprietorship, many a times, I used to speak Bhagavatam class in Bhopal also. We used to have a temple in Bhopal. So one time, one person came and said, who is speaking Bhagavatam today? And somehow I felt like answering this, and I answered it saying, Vyasdev. Each Bhagavatam class is being given by Vyasdev. It's not the speaker who is giving the Bhagavatam class. It's the Vyasdev who is sitting in the Vyasasana and giving the Bhagavatam class. Why? Because Vyasdev is inspiring the individual to speak accordingly. I was reading one verse. This might appear very, shallow, but then it is not very shallow. Uh, just so, Krishnadas Goviraj Goswami says, "Ami," he says, "আমি বৃদ্ধ জড়াতর লিখিতে কাপে কর মনে কিছু স্মরণ না হয় না দেখিয়া নয়নে না শুনিয়া শ্রবণে তাও লিখি এই বড় বিস্ময়." So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is 100 plus years old. He cannot see. His hands are shaking. And in such a situation, he is writing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And how is he writing? He's writing it flawlessly. That is what we can say is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Why? Now, the next question which was asked, and he says later, I just want to quote that. I just brought it out from. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives credit to Chaitanya. Yeah, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives credit to. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah. So he gives credit to Madan Gopal and he says, মদন গোপালের কৃপা এই লিখন করে শিলা লিখাইলে যদি তাহা লিখিতে পারে. So he says, it is by the mercy of Madan Gopal that I write these descriptions. If he can make a stone speak, then surely he can also make me write. That is what the consciousness of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is. So he is not writing by his whims and fancies. It is Madan Gopal who is inspiring, he is validating, Madan Gopal is inspiring, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing. And then he says in the later verse, he says that I don't want to speak about Madan Gopal, that he inspired me to write, because if I do so, everyone will start thinking, oh my God, I'm such a big person. I don't want this to happen, but I can't take the credit. And I want to give the authenticity to this particular scripture, that is Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is why to give authenticity to the scriptures, I'm letting you know that Madan Gopal has kept spoken and I have kept writing. What is that? Vasudevasya Mataha. Similarly, from Prabhupada's pastimes, Gaurang Prabhu very often quotes it. That one time, Kirtananda Swami, Prabhupada and others, they were there, and then one family came and they asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, you write so well. How do you write? And Prabhupada said, Krishna inspires me and I write. No, Krishna speaks and I write. So Kirtananda Swami corrected Prabhupada to make them conceive what Prabhupada meant by saying, actually, when Srila Prabhupada writes, he feels inspiration from Krishna and he writes accordingly. Immediately, Srila Prabhupada said, no, Krishna speaks and I write. What is this? This is giving validation to Vasudevasya Mataha. When you're writing a scripture, the scriptures has been validated also by our acharyas. This has been validated by Lord himself. Krishna has spoken and people, the acharyas, they have written the scriptures. So we have to understand that as well. So I will end with this last verse from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and that is Rupa Goswami is saying, प्रपंची प्रपंचिका तया बुद्ध्या हरि संबंध वस्तुना मुमुक्षुभि परित्यागो फल्गु वैराग्यम कथ्यते. If we give up everything, we are reflecting Krishna's energy. If we are giving up everything, that means whatever we have, we are giving that also, and we are saying that, hey, we cannot use it. I'm getting attached to it. So that is also not right, because everything is Krishna's energy. In a way, we are disrespecting Krishna's energy also. So do not reject. Instead, utilize it properly, what all we have. Doing everything under the instruction of Krishna is important. Krishna Simataha. Never do anything oneself as independent. Independent means I am God. Prabhupada is saying. If one is saying that he is independently able to do the thing, then he is calling himself as God. If we falsely think we are independent, that is ahankar vimudatma. Like Arjuna, we must follow the instructions of Krishna, Guru, and Shastra. Devesha gunamahi mammaya durataya. So Maya is really difficult to be fought with and win. If we think, see, a living entity can never live independently. If he is thinking that he is not wanting to live independently, then also the living entity is dependent. It is dependent upon the instructions of Maya. So if a living entity does not follow Guru, Shastra, Vasudevasya Mataha, then the living entity is dependent upon whom? The living entity is dependent upon Maya to give instructions. And Maya gives proper instructions to the soul. Not the soul, to the individual. So dependent on Krishna's, if someone is dependent on Krishna's will, then he will be happy forever. And that is the simple meaning of chant and be happy. So when you chant under the instruction of Guru, then only you can be happy. So with this, we can conclude our discussion for today. The discussion was around Matam cha Vasudevasya Matam. So we discussed about what is the duty of government, why do we need instructions in our lives. We spoke about what is the role of a government. We spoke about what is Upadrava. We saw that so many people are doing Upadrava and taking the mass population away from the spiritual life or the Krishna conscious life. We spoke about Manda, what does Manda means. We spoke about how family can also have enemies, according to Chanakya Pandit, not by me. We also spoke about the difficulties we have in Kali Yuga. We spoke about we should not take decisions independently. We should always take guidance and consultants. We should not independently live. We should always be dependent, because by nature, a living entity is always dependent. All right. So with this, we can conclude our discussion for today. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. Do we have some time for questions? Does anyone have any question online? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Pundaratnam. Thank you for a wonderful lecture. I have just one doubt regarding the Upadra you mentioned related to influencers. So
I was expecting this to come from you.
So many times we see that in Krishna consciousness also somebody who is following Krishna consciousness nicely, and they are doing preaching by showing things in the medium of like social media. So whether that it will be also considered as a upadrav or not.
Yeah. So Prabhu is asking that there are some influencers who are doing using the devotional platform also to see. Now you have to understand. I saw a person. Uh, I saw a person. His videos in that this person wakes up at 3:30 a.m., wears a tilak all around his body. Then he takes clip when he's in Mangalarti dancing. When he's chanting, he's taking a picture and he's showing that he is doing japa, closed his eyes, doing japa. Everything is perfectly fine for the person who is seeing it, right? What an amazing person. But think about this particular person who is doing it. His consciousness while he's chanting is Mera video ban raha hai abhi. When he's doing Mangal Aarti, his focus is not on Radha Madhav. His focus is on whom? His focus is on his mobile phone, whether my moves are getting properly captured in my mobile phone or not. And what is he going to justify? He's going to justify saying, Are, I am doing this for the prachar purpose, for the Krishna consciousness. Do you know what is real Krishna consciousness? What is the real prachar? You keep this, your friend, aside for some time. You chant your rounds quietly. Do not publicize it, and things will automatically happen. See, Prabhuji, I'll tell you one fact. Do you want to know the fact, or you want to know what you would like to know? Yeah. So I'll tell you a fact. Do you think Baldev Vidyabhushan, Baldev Vidyabhushan is our Acharya, right? Madhu, our, uh, who was that who went to Kirchara Gopinath? Madhavendra Puri. So did Madhavendra Puri post in Instagram? Feeling very happy. Today I have been given the kheer by Madhavendra, by Gopinath himself. Now I'm carrying this kheer and going to Vrindavan. No, going to Jagannath Puri. I'm on the way. I'm posting this so that all the individuals who want to meet me can come across. So, now you tell me, did Madhavendra Puri do this? No. But did he become popular? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said before Madhavendra Puri reached Jagannath Puri, his glory is reached. Do you know something, Prabhu? Madhavendra Puri was the person for whom not just one time Gopinath came and brought kheer, you taste it. It was also when he was in Vrindavan and Krishna came as a cowherd boy with a bowl of milk and said, Please drink it. You have not had anything since morning. Now you tell me one thing very clearly. Did he publish all of that in Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media? No. But still he got popularized, right? What is the reason for it? The reason for it is bhakti. Ultimately, you getting popular is going to be a byproduct of your devotion, not what you post and not how people see you. That's what is the conclusion. So if you really want to become popular, you forget to become popular and you practice Krishna consciousness seriously, keeping your friend away from you. And if you do that, you will become popular in Krishna's eye. And then Krishna is going to bless you with all the glories. And when you sit in Vyasasana, you need not to post that today's class will be given by me in your WhatsApp status. Everyone will automatically come. Does it make sense? So now you tell me whether it is Upadrav or it is not Upadrav. You decide it. Hare Krishna. Does anyone else have any question? Yes, Prabhu. Online. Okay. Can I take online? Yes. Huh? Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Who has the question? Medhavani.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Very wonderful. So many verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. A nice Bengali devotee is giving a class. So thank you so much, Prabhu. And so many Vaishnava bhajans. It was very, very wonderful to hear. Prabhuji, like you mentioned right now, this, keep posting on the Facebook and on the WhatsApp and all that. So very nice that, although I was just thinking, reflecting on that. So Krishna utilizes even such a devotee to inspire others, isn't it? In some way or the other, somebody might see the Facebook post or the WhatsApp message and may join and chant Hare Krishna. And what if that devotee who's chanting Hare Krishna, he becomes a pure devotee because he is chanting attentively, he is chanting with absorption. So the person who's posting in the WhatsApp group or in the Facebook, what is the merit that this person gets? Because this person may want name, fame, glory, right? I could identify with myself. I post so many WhatsApp messages in a day, Facebook posts. I also send to my Guru Maharaj. My Guru Maharaj says, Medhavani, I'm happy with your preaching, to the extent of even sharing with Guru Maharaj. I'm very selfish, my advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on my Guru Maharaj's blessing. So I am so fallen that I have to keep writing to my Guru Maharaj. I need to keep getting that from my Guru Maharaj. And my Guru Maharaj also gives, the most fallen needs the, maximum support and, being carried. Otherwise, strong devotees, they can just go on. So, Prabhu, as I was identifying myself with all that you mentioned, that no bhakti means more wanting to post. So, I was wanting to know, Prabhu, what happens if by such posts maybe 100 devotees join and one among that becomes a pure devotee by chanting Hare Krishna? So what is this person who is probably just posting, what is the destination of this devotee? Maybe will that devotee who's become pure or who's chanting nicely help this devotee who's posted the message or simply forwarded the message of a pure devotee of the Lord? Kindly enlighten, Prabhu. Dhanad pranams. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So many a time you see there are questions which used to be anonymous, and there will be a question, and then our Guru Maharaj will used to say, I remember His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj speaking in Pune only, NVCC. So there was a question asked and there was no person's name written. And then Guru Maharaj said, if I do not know who has asked this question, if I do not know and I do not see that person, how am I going to give answer to him? Right? So now the conclusion is what? The conclusion to what I'm trying to say and what you rightly said here is, for example, the question that I just answered was asked by a person whom I know since last 10 years or more than that. It was the first time I went into his hostel, gave a class, he became a devotee, and somehow I see that I have some, not authority as such, but some responsibility, I would say, towards him, to guide him, to correct him, because I see myself as his elder brother. So sometimes the answer can be of that kind to the person based on his needs. Similarly, Mataji, when it comes to you, I might not say in the same fashion to you, or I might not say the same thing to you, because not just the answer depends, it cannot be generalized. It can depend upon person to person. Now, how can I do not have that audacity to give you such instructions. Why? You have been practicing Krishna consciousness. I was not born.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. I am just asking you, what is the benefit that a devotee or a so-called pseudo devotee or a practicing devotee
I'm
or
coming
a
to
person
that.
who does not know the purpose, get by simply posting the message? That is all, Prabhu.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I'm
have
coming to
the
that.
Mataji, Prabhu, you have the authority to correct me, Prabhu. It is not the number of years. Like Madhusudana Prabhu talks about a tree lives 100 years. What is the use? Right? But if a devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, like Madan Sundar Prabhu mentions in the class, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived only for 48 years. A tree lives for millions of years. Is there a comparison? Doesn't matter, Prabhu. So please, I give you the authority, Prabhu. Please correct me. I'm a very neophyte devotee,
Nothing is
and
to be corrected, Mataji. It's
yeah,
just
Hare
that I want to let you know that nothing is needed to be corrected. I want to let you know that that person who is getting inspired to see him, he'll get Krishna consciousness, and this person from whom he is getting the inspiration from is also going to get the Krishna consciousness inspiration. he will also get the benefits of inspiring this individual into bhakti. But the point is, how long is this person going to continue in Krishna consciousness who has been making these videos? That is my purpose. For him, he is driving inspiration to practice Krishna consciousness by seeing the number of views and the likes on the social media. Now you tell me, if the person's Krishna consciousness is getting fueled by the number of likes, comments, and subscriptions he is getting, will he be able to continue in Krishna consciousness? Considering a person who has lived for 25 years in Krishna consciousness like you. Now, if you practice Krishna consciousness and you are giving all this posting things in Instagram, Facebook, wherever, WhatsApp, you're doing this because you have been practicing it. But a person who is new and doesn't know much, for him, he's fueling his inspiration from the like, share and subscribe things. So for him to continue will be very difficult. And therefore, for such individuals, it's better that he follows the instructions of his spiritual master or the instructions of Srila Prabhupada or his Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, whoever, and solitarily practice Krishna consciousness. The desire to become popular will come with time. I think I answered it clearly in short.
Prabhuji, just a small question attached to it. I hope I'm not exceeding the time. So, Prabhuji, see, the person who is even inspired by likes, like you're saying, even if such a person, if he continues, say by Krishna's mercy, gets the likes or whatever happens, simply by the process of chanting Hare Krishna or doing Mangalarti or doing whatever, whether he's recording or he's posting or is okay. And if he's just continuing that process, say for 15-20 years, will that process only not purify?
Yeah, it will get purified.
Yeah.
It will get purified, but
Correct.
then
It'll take a long time.
shocks and blows, which you might have also seen in Krishna consciousness. You might have seen your friends and others also, speaking some funny things at times, which is not appropriate. Devotees, that can blow your mind. Assume a guru is falling down. Can this particular person who has not got much inspiration from Vedas and scriptures, will he be able to go through those shocks? So that is what my point is.
Yes, bro. Got it.
For further discussions, Mataji, I can ping you in WhatsApp and we can have a discussion there.
Definitely, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Then it's pronounced.
Okay, all Gurus to Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki